What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to the channel. We're jumping in with some more solo leveling Arise content, so let's get in. So this week we've got a pretty hefty patch. It's about 2.5 gigabytes. So that's on PC. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same on a phone, but take a look at that and get into the game because there's a lot of new content for you to enjoy. I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible because a lot of this probably could be broken down into separate videos, so bear with me, guys. All right, so let's jump in. First things first is we've got the addition of the new reverse story mode hard. So if you've been playing the game and you've completed normal and hard, all you need to do inside the reverse story mode to unlock its hard content is to complete chapter 17. That'll unlock you your new tier of rewards. I've been holding on to these rewards mostly because I know that if I put them in my inventory, I'm more than likely going to use them. And I've been waiting for like the 1 year anniversary, things like that, to just like go in on these and then, you know, shore up whatever essence stones and tickets that I can gobble up for myself. Because otherwise, if it's in my inventory, I'm just going to use them. So I've been holding back, but just complete chapter 17 and you should be good to go. Next up, the thing that we want to talk about the most is the introduction of our newest hunter, and that is Saorin. So Saorin's another one of the Hunter Association characters, and essentially she joins the game as a water type ranger type character. Now, from my understanding, is she's supposed to be a complement maybe to the characters that are coming in May? I don't know. What I do know about the character is I drew on her so that way I can unlock her for the thing, and I don't know that I want to draw her anymore. I know that there's probably going to be reason to, but particularly I don't like her skills and the way they look. I'm going to be perfectly honest. She comes with a motorcycle, and probably 90% of her kit is her utilizing the motorcycles overall, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's just not something that's appealing to me, especially after having Kane and Goto basically join with their really smooth transitions and their type of blade skills. This just doesn't really, you know, scream out to me as like something I want. Now, she's probably going to be a worthwhile break character inside of the water element to get, because let's be realistically, this is what we have. And for break characters, we pretty much got Seo, and then we've got Han, I think it is. She's the other break character, but yeah, I can't say that I'm beaming to get after this character. Now, to that degree, she does have a pretty spicy, is what we'll call it, uniform inside the game. So make your way over to the update shop and you're going to notice that the Saorin's costume pack is in here. Now, I'm going to be honest, this is probably one of the more risque-ish uniforms in the game that they've sold for a character, and I am not exactly here for it. It doesn't appeal to me in a sense. Like, if you really look at the uniform, it's essentially what it reminds me of is like, you know, if you've been married, had a girlfriend, and she wore your shirt when you came home and, you know, led to some spicy times, then that's what it is. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of fanboys where this will appeal to, but it's just not for me. I like, this one looks the best to me, but it's not something that's on the top of my list in terms of purchasing. And I have my feelings about it, but you know, you do you, and if that's something that you want to purchase, your wallet says is good to go, do you make those purchases? While we're in the store, I do want to point out to you guys that they have made some changes to the let me go to the top, to the monthly subscription up here. So I don't necessarily look at these as improvements, however, because all they've done is add the storage mount for the keys that you can basically carry inside the game, and I don't really look at that as like a added benefit. So at current, in my opinion, really only thing that you're paying for this is like increase in storage units, and then you're getting the auto mining feature from the gate, and that to me just isn't enough to justify the $9.99 monthly subscription cost, even if it does include the custom draw rate up or whatever that has there. To that degree, we did get something of the more sinister nature in my mind. I guess depending on how sinister you view it, we get the addition of the Hunters Association Growth Pass. So now everyone can join in and get for free the Hunters Association gift pass, and you'll be able to unlock whatever you have for the common tier. Now beware that you are going to have to choose from 4, so it's going to be the core, the blessings, the skill runes that are basically going to be there. You can only choose one, and once you choose that, you can only level up in that one. Now unfortunately, this does come with another additional deluxe pass, guys. Yeah. You're not going to escape that bad boy, right? Is that there's another the deluxe pass basically in here now for $7.99. Like, I really don't know what to say, but it's another damn battle pass. Like, we essentially in this game have 3 battle passes. It is ridiculous. And if you really broke them all down, that's 1, that's 2, and then you go deluxe and you say that's 3 and 4. So you've got 4 of these battle passes in the game, or lines of battle passes, and to me it's just getting a little ridiculous. I really hope that they remove this, because yeah, it is what it is, guys. At this point, it is what it is. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Now, the other thing that I want to point out, the biggest change, another big change in the game, is the guild boss. So now when you do guild boss and you make your entries into the season, instead of having 9 characters to fight for the team battle, you're going to have 6. And they've made a change so that way it works like POD. So on a given week, you're going to have recommended elements, and the boss will have some passives to the other elements. So this week, it's fire, water, and wind. So you're going to want to make sure that your team composition is set up to suit those. And that way you can generate points. So as you complete these, what this will generate is points towards your all-out war. So you'll be in battle with 5 other guilds, and you guys are looking to get the higher rage count, the higher score, the higher challenge count to unlock some of these contribution rewards. So you can see there's tiers of rewards here as well, going from tier 1 to tier 4 that you have them. So essentially these are some decent enough, rewards that you're going to get from these contribution chests, whether they're custom weapon draw tickets, traces, or essence stones. These are going to be things that you want to do. I particularly like this because it just puts emphasis on having active guild participation. You'll also be able to unlock some of the guild coins which can be used in the guild shop. So I really like this system overall. I don't have a complaint with this one. Outside of this, we have had changes as well to some of the game modes inside the game. So I want to point some of those out real quick for you. Specifically, Battlefield of Trials, they have now increased the total number of floors for Battlefield of Trials. So where it was up to 60 before, now you can go all the way to stage 70. So you're going to want to complete those for the rewards that they entail. Don't forget that there is a new Battlefield of Trials season that has started. I remember in the beginning of the game, I would routinely forget to do this, so that's why I make mention of it. So the new season has begun. You want to make sure to clear these, because there's going to be some pretty decent rewards that you can unlock for these. So they're going to help you get through some essence stone and some mana stones that you're going to want to get. You're going to want those. So take that for the grain of salt that it is. Now, another thing that I want to point out to you specifically is the conquest missions, for which they've added to Workshop of Brilliant Light, and the Encore and Instance missions. I think these are really good additions to the game, because here now, along with the rewards that you would have got from the game normally, you're also going to be able to collect, inside Encore and Instance, artifact selection chest. So for every 15, 30, 45, 60, and then every repeatable, you'll get a artifact selection chest that is enabled for you to get to get items, or to pick and choose items inside of the game. This is really cool. Along with that, they've also extended the number of tiers inside inside the Encore Instance missions to level 31. So this is really good, because there's some new items that you need to be paying attention to inside the dungeon rewards. There are going to be a host of them as well. Let's take a look at the codex, because that's going to probably be the easiest way, so you can see what you're looking and aiming to get. So let's make our way to artifacts, and you'll see here that we have, similar to our burning sets, right, where we had the Burning Blessing, Burning Greed, and Burning Curse, we now have 3 new chaotic sets. One is Wish, one is Desire, and one is Infamy. And these have some really cool effects on them, and we'll have to see if these become best in slot. Particularly the bracelet of the chaotic Infamy set essentially increases the user's the basic skill damage, while increasing the damage that they take. But all the way up at the 8 set effect, you have the ability to remove the damage taken increase effect and just get the bonus to your basic skill and your ultimate skill, while also regaining 5% of your MP. I think this is a really cool set effect. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one works. Next up, we have the Infamy set, and inside this one we get the increase to our basic. Did I mess that up? Did I look at the Infamy and then mess up the Desire? No, I did look at the infamy. Okay, we're gonna look at the desire set. So the desire one has the it basically, when an attack that deals break damage hits, it triggers the desire effect, and here we get the increase to the user's elemental damage. Now this elemental damage can be applied to all team members. It'll also increase the break effectiveness up to 30% and increase the output of the elemental damage by 40%. So that's a really cool effect. We also get the chaotic wish set, which is going to increase the ultimate skill damage by increasing the attack by 8%. And then you can see all the way here at the top, it's going to increase the skill MP consumption rate, but it's going to give you that cooldown to your basic skills, and then activating also increases your defense, attack, and HP by 15% on a cooldown time. So nice effects there for your support, your DPS, and your break type characters. So we also have some additional force set effects inside the game. So you can see here we've got the destructive instinct set, where we're basically increasing our break effect and then the skill damage increase as well. And then we have the shining star force set effect. This one is going to apply for team members when they're tagging in and out, and it's going to increase the attack effect up to 28% for a duration of 15 seconds at the top. We also have a new armor set. So the new 4-set armor piece is going to be one that you want to look at as well. We can take a look at this here, and it is going to be the Iron Will body armor. So here we get the increase of the user's defense, and then we get the increase for the defense while you're using your ultimate skill as well. So nice set effects overall, new ones here. Now pay attention that you also notice that all of these sets now have level 100 versions of them. Yep, that's because we have a new system in the game, because with those increases to tier 31, we can now get level 100. Now let's say, for instance, however, you've got the perfect roll on a piece of gear that you had. Your Sun Jin Woo is dripped out, and he's got a nice burning blessing that you're really happy because it's got like really freaking cool stats on it. I've got an attack +4, crit hit rate, increased damage, whatever it is, right? And you want to keep that set around. Well, you can now reforge those sets. So essentially inside the items, we now have the ability to collect these artifact reforge stones from the Encore and Instance missions, which will allow us to reforge these sets to get them to level 100, which will also increase the benefits of that set. So you can see here, if I was to reforge this item, it would lead to an increase of about 4.2% in my overall HP, and increase my attack rate. And you know, you can see the general range of the stats, probably like about 0.50 across the board. I don't know, I'm not good at math. You guys tell me what the math is here for them, but that's essentially what you're doing with those sets. Now obviously you're not going to be reforging all of your sets. It doesn't make sense to be doing that, especially if you haven't rolled in. It's really more or less a reforge system for the perfectly rolled items. Otherwise, you might as well just go over, play your Encore missions, play your Instance missions, get to the higher tiers that you can, and then make challenges on those, so that way you can just get the items to drop here. That's essentially the name of the game that you're going for. Otherwise, there's no reason. Now notice at about level 22, 23, the I'm going to call this the ultimate artifact reforged stone will start to drop, and has the ability to drop. Prior to that, you'll only have the artifact reforged stone. It takes 3 of these artifact reforged stones and 3 of the advanced monostones in order to make one of these. You need, I think, 10 of these total in order to reforge your armor piece. But again, like I said, you're not reforging all of your items. I think this should just be reserved for the items that you have, and that's it. So have a look at that, because I think the reforge system is pretty cool. Now what they've also done is they've done some reworks to the Workshop of a Brilliant Light. So here we also have a conquest mission system put in, where you can now get core selection chests, and these are going to allow you to basically do exactly what it says: select cores from the selection chest for what you want. I think that system is pretty good that they have it in play. You can see here's 3, 6, 9, and then at every third one you have it. I don't know, do people play this 9 times in a given week? I don't like, I don't do that, so I'm a little confused about that one. But like, I guess there are people who are running this 6 to 9 times a week. I just don't. And I don't necessarily see purchasing a ticket as a reason to get to the solidified stones or, you know, even the core ethers. Maybe that's me, but I'm not. Yeah, that's not me. So they've also changed some of the requirements in order to get to stages in terms of the difficulty that they've enabled, with the exception of hard mode inside the Commander of Transfiguration. The requirements for him are still the same, but this should make it a little bit easier for players to jump in and play these game modes. I think overall, those are good changes that you shouldn't necessarily, you know, feel bad about, I guess. You know, no big effects there. I think those are pretty decent changes overall. One of the things that I also wanted to note inside of here is the events that are currently going on, because there are quite a few and they are aplenty. So we have the return of the wheel event. We have this one on and off again with the introduction of new hunters. This is one that's going to enable you to unlock weapon designs for the selection chest against either the new characters, Seorin, Mylan Fisher, or Alicia Blanche. So if you don't have those characters for some reason at higher levels, then you can go back now and unlock their weapon designs to basically do those. This is a very simple event. Complete the missions. They log in, you know, draws and encore missions, mining operations, in order to get additional tickets to make spins on the wheel, and you'll unlock and earn rewards. These are really good because you're also going to unlock some custom draw tickets along the way. We also have the return of the draw point event, which is just a loyalty based event. So doing the collection tournament, whether you're collecting blessing stones, gems, cores, hunters, and things like that along the way, you'll unlock points for those missions that will net you some loyalty points, which will contribute to the loyalty event. At the end of those, you'll notice that you have the ability to select some of the event special rewards, whether it was the spooky pumpkin, the juicy grill skewer, or the Marlin surfboard, and as well as the gold-tailed fox weapon. So those items are available to you at each of the individual levels for loyalty points inside the shop. Not a bad event overall. We also have the weapon growth challenge event. So essentially, by leveling up hunter and Sung Jin Woo weapons, you'll be able to earn additional loyalty points and the artifact modification tickets. So this is an event that I think players really like. They want to see this around more, and it's making its return. We immediately are given 3 of these own artifacts, and this essentially allows us to modify any one of the items that we have, so that way you can change the stats on these equipments. So I think a lot of people like these events overall. I think it comes at a little bit of a weird time because we got the introduction of the new chaotic sets, and we've got the reforging system, so players being able to figure out exactly where they're going with these. I think that's going to be a little bit of a question, whether or not what you should be using your artifact modification. I would suggest that you give it some time, so that way you can at least run through and collect some of the new sets, see where they fit in terms of your character team creations, and then go from there. We also have the Seorin growth events, so basically capture Seorin and other hunters and level them up, so that way you can unlock the rewards. The final reward being another one of those weapon selection chest box. Don't forget that we still have the continuation of the treasure hunt mission that's inside the game. I've been very lazy, haven't done very much in order to accomplish this, so I'll get back onto it. So sometimes I've got 6 days to run these and collect some of those items, but I haven't really been that concerned, if I'm being perfectly 100% honest with you. Unfortunately, it is what it is. One of the things I also want to point out to you guys, if you haven't noticed, if you get your battle tier to level 45, you can make your way over to the armory, and you'll notice that there is an additional page of slots now available for you to basically, you know, equip some new items inside there. I highly suggest you don't go the route of using essence stones to unlock these, and just go about your business of collecting the marks of time to unlock these, so that way you can equip them to your characters and net the armory total bonus rewards from there. That's a really good one overall for that one. So outside of this, we also have a change to the simulation gates. I like the fact that they're trying to keep this fresh, and they're making adjustments as they see that players are either having difficulties or they're trying to engage in this content. Simulation gates I wish that you could run this more than, you know, at just one time and have multiple tickets, but I get the reason why it's not. But they've made some changes to this one. So the effects of certain collections they've added to be be enhanced. Collections are basically items that you collect in a game as you clear out certain levels and stages inside there. So some of those effects are going to be enhanced. The damage that they had for the multi-thread and upscaling protocols that you collect, those are going to be increased. Some of the rewards that are obtained from the choices inside episodes, they've adjusted those. And then the recommended combat power for levels 16 and above are being adjusted downward. So they're being a little bit nerfed so that way more players gain access and entry to these. Next up, the monster attack power that they had, they reduced the effects from level 23 and above. So if you're all the way up there, I really just play this just to try to capture what I can capture. And then they changed the data pattern for Kang Tai Shik. They basically removed it. And then the charge time of the break pattern for Cheyenne and special battle, they increased as well. So just pay attention to that, because like I said, it's good. The battle tier, depending on where you are, I'm not particularly that high in terms of my battle tier. I am literally at level 45 with 1.2, but if you are higher, they've increased this from 60 to 70. So think about it that way. We've also had some improvements here to our artifact system inside of here. Now, this should come into play some way for you depending on how you go about addressing and leveling up characters. But essentially, we have the ability to add additional filter options for the character inside of here, so that way you can get at what it is that you're trying to do for meeting the needs of the specific character you're building to try to meet their 3 specific substat effects. It should help out a little bit inside the game overall. One of the things that they also added inside of the game is the ability to see the trophy display. So if I go to the story mission, and I'll just go on to reverse so you guys can see this real quick, but if I go to chapter 17 and I just run this, you can see that there's these battle missions that I have to do. Well, when you're playing the game now, you have the ability to see those on the left hand side of the screen. You can also see them inside Encore instance missions and stuff like that as well, so that way you know what things you need to complete. I like this because having to pause and pull myself out of the gameplay made it a little bit difficult, or not necessarily difficult, but it made it a little bit tedious in my opinion. There's a number of shop items in the game, but I want to do another video to review those specifically because of the Hunter Pass, and I want to really take an in-depth look at the things that they're offering the shop. It's been a while since I've really looked at the shop to advise you guys on whether or not the things that they're doing are pretty terrible, pretty nasty, or if they're above par. And I want to give you guys an honest review of those. My immediate knee-jerk reaction to seeing the Hunter Association Growth Pass was pretty negative, and I want to make sure that I'm doing due justice and giving them credit and giving them criticism where it's due. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. It really is helping the channel to grow. I really would like to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers soon, so every like, every comment, subscription really helps. Until next time, guys, peace.